Hello, BookTube! It has been quite a while and I do apologize for that. I abruptly stopped Vlogmas, Bookmas, honestly just because I got a little burnt out from making content on a whole. Much just stopped making content for YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. I was just really burnt out and it was the end of the year, the holidays, so I wanted to spend the time with my family. And then got off to a bit of a rocky start for the beginning of the year, but we're here now and that is all that matters. Today I kind of wanted to discuss with you guys my reading goals for 2025, kind of what they look like and how I plan to achieve them. If you follow my Instagram or my TikTok, then you pretty much already know what my goals are for this year, but in case you don't, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys now. So first and foremost, my reading goal for this year, like the amount of books I would like to try to read this year, I have decided is going to be 100 books. Now, I know for a lot of you, you're like, Taylor, 100 books, I can read that by May. And good for you. I'm so happy that you were able to achieve that, but unfortunately I'm somebody that really can't do that in a short amount of time, so I'm giving myself the year to read 100 books. As of recording this, I have already read 8 books and I'm reading my 9th right now. So I feel like I'm off to a good start for this year. This is really going to be a challenge for me considering I think I read 56 last year. I know the number of books that people read in a year really truly does not matter. What matters the most is that we're reading. But for me, I would like to say that in my lifetime, I read 100 books within 1 year's time. So I made this little challenge for me and so far it's going good and I'm really excited to keep going and hopefully be able to achieve it. I decided that I was going to read 100 books probably like mid-November last year, and before the first of the year I was contemplating on how I was going to do that. I knew that this was going to be a big feat for me, so I wanted to make sure that I went into it knowing that it is going to be a challenge and kind of give myself ways to achieve it. So first and foremost, I knew that audiobooks would literally be my best friend, which so far it has been helping me a lot. I realize in my day-to-day the amount of time I actually have to sit down and read is very minimal, so if I stick to only physical or ebooks, then I would be setting myself up for failure. So I knew that listening to audiobooks would probably be a good thing for me to stay on track in achieving 100 books in the year. Secondly, I know that DNFing is going to be huge for me if I am not vibing with a book, especially if a book is more than like 300 pages. If I'm not vibing with it, I know I just need to stop reading it. At the end of the day, life is too short to be reading books you're not vibing with, so I'm just gonna have to get really comfortable with DNFing, which has been a problem for me in the past. But to avoid slumps and to avoid wasting time, I'm gonna have to DNF. Another thing is bringing my current read everywhere that I go. If I have it physically on my Kindle, audiobook, or a combination of the three, bring all of those formats with me because you never know when you do have a second to read. You know, if I'm waiting for something for 5 to 10 minutes, that could be 5 to 10 minutes that I could have spent reading instead of scrolling through my phone or just waiting around. Basically just making sure I always have my current read with me so that I can basically read at any given moment. I'm also not doing like any strict TBRs for this year. Like I know for sure there are books I'm wanting to read this year, especially new releases. Like there are books that I have been waiting for, and so when they come out I know I'm going to want to read it right then and there. But aside from that, I'm really not going to stick to any strict TBRs. I'm going to read what I want whenever I want it, whenever I'm in the mood for it, because I feel like setting strict TBRs, it can be good, but it also can, at least for me, potentially put me into a slump because although I said I was going to read XYZ book, I may not be in the mood for XYZ book within that month that I set it for. So this entire year, I'm not doing any strict TBRs, just going to go with the flow and with my mood on what I'm wanting to read. This one is really going to get me out of my comfort zone, I hope, but I would like to join a book club or do a lot more buddy reads. I have done one actual buddy read with a friend And while it was fun, we're no longer friends anymore. And so like just that whole experience just really is tainted now for me. So I'm going to get out of my comfort zone and attempt to either buddy read or join a book club so that I can be engaged with reading and take some notes, have something to talk about, and have something to discuss so that I will be excited about what I'm reading. And even if the book is really bad, like being excited to talk about how much I don't like it, whatever the case is, just basically having people or someone to talk about books with, I think will really help me to want to continue to read. And lastly, for this goal of reading 100 books, just for me to have fun. Like, you know, at the end of the day, this is reading. It's supposed to be a hobby. It's not supposed to be a chore. So I don't ever want it to feel that way. You know, if I want to read some silly little romance, I'll do that. If I want to read a thriller, I'm going to do that. I just want to have fun with whatever I'm doing because I really do not want to get into a slump or really don't want to be having fun or it become like a chore to me and something I don't want to do anymore because I genuinely do enjoy reading. So whatever it is I have to do to continue to have fun, that's what I want to do. So another one of my 2025 reading goals is to prioritize my physical TBR, which if you watch my Bookmas video, I don't remember which day it was, but if you watch that one, I think it was 110 physical books that I had on my TBR, and that's just like really sad to me. And I really should not be buying any more books. I really need to read the ones that I have here at home. We have books at home, okay? I don't need to be buying any more books. So I want to prioritize reading my physical TBR, but again, with what I stated for my 100 books a year, I don't want to 100% cage myself into just reading my TBR because what if I don't want to read any of those books, which is valid, duh. So I will be reading other things, like I have Kindle Unlimited, I have Libby, so I will, and access to the library, so I will read other things other than just my TBR, physical TBR, but I really would like to try or attempt to like knock some books down off of it, you know? Another one of my goals for this year is to only buy new releases, which, yeah, I've so far only bought two. I bought two books so far this year. One of them was Shady Hollow, which for the life of me, I cannot remember the author's name. I'll put it up here on the screen. And the second book, I cannot remember what it is. I'll figure it out and I'll put it on the screen here. I cannot remember what book I bought, but I know I bought two books. Yeah, I'm working on it, okay? We're working on it. Next, another goal of mine this year is to diversify my reading. I would like to read more BIPOC stories by BIPOC authors and also stories from different countries, just to be able to read different perspectives and points of view and see where other people are coming from. And the next goal I have is to continue to utilize Libby and the library. I used Libby so much last year. It's insane. Like the amount of money that I saved just from using Libby is crazy to me. So I would like to continue to do that. I didn't necessarily utilize the library itself as much as I would have liked to. I honestly really just don't make it a point to go to the library to go look at what books they have and actually like check physical books out. I more so use Libby for the ebooks and the audiobooks, but I really would like to try to use the library for physical books. It has been a very hot minute since I have checked out books physically, so I would like to get back into doing that this year. And the last goal that I have for this year is to just have fun. I want to have fun with reading and with my reading journey. I want to have fun with this 100 book challenge for me. I want to have fun reading, you know, diverse stories by, you know, BIPOC authors or authors from different countries. I want to utilize the library and Libby. Like I want to have fun with everything that I'm doing this year when it comes to reading. And I do plan to document this whole entire year with my reading journey. I know I've been so bad at it so far, but I'm trying. Since I've already read 8 books this year, I think what I might do is just at the end of the month do one big monthly wrap up, and then starting in February maybe take it a book at a time and just kind of document my whole experience with reading whatever book I'm reading. And I do just want to take a second to thank all of you guys for sticking around, especially with my absence this past month basically. If you would like to follow me anywhere else, my Instagram and TikTok are going to be both linked down in the description below. And I would love to know what reading goal you have this year, or any goals you have pertaining to reading or books in general. I would love to hear it. That is going to be all for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.